government assures Nigerians of positive economy outlook in 2025. KOGI government constitutes committee to investigate alleged misconduct. Trial of Prime Minister Netanyahu resumes in Tel Aviv. And in sports, Premier League referee COOTE sacked after investigation. A very warm welcome to you. This is MLC TV Global News, reaching you live from the city of Lokoja, the confluent state of Nigeria. I am GOVT Daniel. Thanks for joining. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, has seen positive indicators that the economy will turn around positively next year. Edun stated this on Monday while giving an overview of the expected 2025 budget proposal in the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework (MTEF) and Fiscal Strategic Paper (FSP) before the House of Representatives in Abuja. The chairman, House Committee on National Planning and Economic Development, Ibrahim Isiaka, who presided over the session, had asked the minister to give a brief on the state of the economy. Meanwhile, the committee has directed the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer (MD/CEO) of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Dr. Abubakar Dansoho, to appear before it. In another vein, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, said the country had been underinvesting in every sector and emphasized the need for it to invest $100 million yearly in resource development. Isiaka said, let them have an insight into the previous, into whether they are looking good, especially in terms of their gross domestic product, GDP, and inflation rates as submitted, so that they can note all this down and submit their report. Responding, Edun said that going by the projection on increased revenue 2025 and other measures taken, the country is moving away from factors that had impacted negatively on the economy and affected its people. He said they do have market pricing and foreign exchange that has resulted in a situation whereby upwards of 5% of GDP has been lost to the plurality of factors benefiting just a few and created long-sighted incentives against growth and investment. Speaking earlier, the chairman, House Committee on Finance, James Faleke, said the committees were looking at the revenue performances of the ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, as regards the 2024 budget, as the 2025 proposed budget is about to commence in January. Vice President Kashim Shettima has advised Kemi Badenoch, the UK Conservative Party leader, to drop her Nigerian name for allegedly denigrating her country of origin. The Vice President also said Nigeria was proud of her achievements despite her attempts at smearing Nigeria. Shettima said she is entitled to her own opinions. She has every right to remove the Kemi from her name, but that does not underscore the fact that the greatest black nation on earth is the nation called Nigeria. The Vice President said this at the 10th Annual Migration Dialogue at the State House held in Abuja. He recounted the efforts of immigrants helping to build and strengthen their host countries. He mentioned Elon Musk, the Chief Executive Officer of X, formerly Twitter, and Tesla, who was of South African origin, and Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister, who is of Indian descent. Badenoch has come under fire for her controversial opinions on Nigeria. She accused Nigerian politicians of using public funds for personal gains in 2022. After her election in 2024 as the UK Conservative Party leader, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, said Badenoch failed to respond when the commission contacted her. Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has approved the appointment of Dr. Musa Omeiza Muhazu as Executive Director, KOGI State Primary Health Care Development Agency. A government statement by the Secretary to the Government of KOGI State, Dr. Folashade Arike Ayoade, explained that Dr. Musa Omeiza Muhazu replaces Dr. Abubakar Yakubu as the new Executive Director, State Primary Health Care Development Agency. The appointment is with immediate effect. KOGI State Government has constituted an examination misconduct, investigation, and disciplinary committee to look into allegations of misconduct involving 15 supervisors, the recognizing of 13 schools by West African Examination Council, WAEC. The committee, which is made up of members from various educational bodies, including WAEC, NECO, ANCOPS, and the judiciary, is headed by the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education. According to Kogi State Commissioner for Education, Wemi Jones, the decision to set up the committee was prompted by allegations of misconduct involving 15 supervisors and the recognition of 13 schools by WAEC. He noted that the ministry is determined to get to the bottom of these issues and ensure that those involved face the appropriate consequences. The committee's term of reference include investigating the level of involvement of the indicated schools and persons, as well as recommending suitable punishment in line with the provisions of the Kogi State Education Law. The government has reiterated its zero-tolerance policy towards examination malpractice and is committed to upholding the integrity of the education sector. With this latest move, the Kogi State Ministry of Education is sending a clear message that unethical behavior will not be tolerated and that those who engage in examination misconduct will be held accountable. Kogi State government has explained the rationale behind the construction of a new Lokoja ultra-modern market project embarked upon by Governor Usman Ododo. Speaking on the new Lokoja ultra-modern market, Kogi State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, said the Ododo administration is committed to ensuring that all 7 smaller markets in Lokoja are brought under one roof through the new Lokoja ultra-modern market. This, he said, will help in having a cleaner and safer Lokoja. Fanwo said the Kogi State government would move all 7 smaller markets to the new market and convert the present international markets into government warehouses and the Commodity Exchange Commission. According to the commissioner, the project is the last leg of the Lokoja Urban Renewal Project, LURP. Fanwo said Kogi State is ready to leverage the strategic location of the state for maximum commercial benefits, saying the ultramodern market will turn Kogi into the commercial hub of Nigeria when completed. He urged traders across Lokoja and its environs not to note any fear as the government will ensure a smooth transition to the new market when completed. The Kogi State chapter of the Coalition of Northern Groups, CNG, says the tax reform bills will strengthen the national economy and end inequalities among Nigerians. The state coordinator of the group, Salahu Enesi AVIV, who made the call at a press conference on the tax reform bill in Lokoja, the state capital, said the economic implication of the tax reform bills should be taken into consideration before taking any negative action in a hurry. Our reporter Richard Toluyemi has the details.
Critical stakeholders on the tax reform bill to ensure equality between the northern and southern parts of the country have brainstormed on the way forward. They want Nigeria to key into the president's proposal.
The continued discussion surrounding the tax reform bills put forth by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration has been closely watched and tracked by the CNG Kogi State chapter. Like other Nigerians, the CNG Kogi State chapter is well aware of the socio-economic issues that Nigeria is faced with, such as unemployment, poverty, inadequate funding for education, poor health, and deteriorating infrastructure, inflations, various taxes, corruption, and official impunity are among issues that hinder our progress and that we believe previous administrations has failed to address. Observations. The tax reform bills represent structural shifts that could deepen economic inequalities between northern and southern Nigeria.
The lead chairman, NSC, during the press briefing, used the occasion to call on Kogi State government, led by Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo, to put in place more security to stop illegal miners from mining mineral resources across the state in order to harness the resources to serve the people.
Government at all levels should focus on industries that can improve the economy of our state and the country at large, by securing and preventing illegal mining operations in our local communities where mineral resources are deposited.
The group added that federal government should address issues of poverty and youth unemployment across the nation, Nigeria. I am Richard Toluyemi reporting from MLC TV.
The Initiative for Grassroots Advancement (INGRA) and AIDS Healthcare Foundation has led the advocacy to end HIV and AIDS stigmatization among students and youth in society. A broadcaster, Catherine Udok, who led the advocacy at the Federal University of Lokoja, urges students to think inclusiveness of those living with HIV and AIDS, among them, and shun discrimination. The executive director of INGRA, Hamza Aliu, said the campaign is vital as it is domicile among young people. Our reporter Abiodun Sadiq tells us more.
It was an educative and enlightening moment for students of Federal University Lokoja as the Initiative for Grassroots Advancement, with support from AIDS Healthcare Foundation (AHF), organized a sensitization program with the theme Youth Unite to End Stigma. The speakers informed the students about the discrimination law and urged them to avoid stigmatizing HIV/AIDS carrier and the vulnerables among them.
Yeah, the way to realize that being HIV positive does not affect your education. True of course, it does not affect what type of job you do. True of course.
Because you are different, nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody wants to associate with you. There's no way you will be creative.
Right now in KOGI State, we have a law that says you cannot ask me for my HIV status. If you do that, I can take you to court.
A prevention at the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, Aminat Adewale, urged the people to avoid misconception of health-related information and get clarity of their HIV/AIDS status.
Realize that what fuels stigmatization, discrimination and stigmatization is because of wrong myth and misconception. You cannot transmit HIV by touching, eating, sharing cooking utensils with somebody that is HIV positive. So you don't have to treat them separately. And so far they have taken responsibility too. They have taken charge of their head to know their HIV status and they are taking treatment. So while they are virally suppressed, they are able to do everything somebody that is not HIV positive is also able to do.
The executive director, Hamza Aliu, and the convener of End Stigma, Catherine Odok, noted that stigmatization has led to social withdrawal and affected students' academic performance.
A lot of cases of young persons that are committing suicide, that are not following up in the academics pursuit because of the issue of stigma. A lot of young persons are being thrown out of work. A lot of young persons are being publicly body shamed in the society because of their HIV status. And so we feel that this campaign needs to be domiciled with young persons, and so they will carry this campaign forward. And we're hoping that the more young persons hear these issues and the more they discuss these issues, the more advantage it will be to us programmers who are willing to stop this scourge called HIV.
What better ways to speak prevention other than to recruit young persons to talk prevention, to spread the message about prevention, and to draw the minds of people that to the fact that HIV still exists, amongst us, and so we cannot shy away from it. But we need to think, to incorporate. Incorporation is not really the right word, but to think inclusivity, to include those who already are living with HIV as we talk prevention, so we don't isolate them, so we don't discriminate against them, so we don't stigmatize them just because they are different or just because they are living with HIV.
All right. The Student Union Government President Benjamin Olorunfemi Omeza and President Student Association of History and International Study, Priscilla Anate, appreciate the organizer and spoke on the impact felt from the sensitization program.
Learns how to coordinate and respect the individual difference of individual, and also how to see that discrimination is out of the society, brings about unity and togetherness within the society, irrespective of your status, whether you have HIV, whether you are hepatitis, whether you have malaria, whatever it is, whether you're a drug addict, there should be a treatment given to you for equal treatment.
We learn that we should be careful with the things we use, and also we should not always go on unprotected sex. Yes, they brought they brought condom. Yes.
The sensitization on stigmatization at the Federal University Lokoja focus on prevention of HIV/AIDS and the end of stigma of anyone with the virus. I am Abiodun Sadiq, reporting for MLC TV.
The Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development has announced the suspension of the planned foundation laying ceremony for the Osun State International Airport. The decision to suspend the foundation laying ceremony follows several petitions challenging the relocation of the airport from its present location at Ido, Osun, to Akoda, Ede. In a letter dated 6th of December 2024, addressed to the Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke and cited by our correspondent, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Aviation, raised concerns about the duplication and wastage of resources associated with the project. The ministry, the letter noted, prioritizes the judicious use of public resources and has requested the temporary suspension of the project to reassess its necessity and long-term benefits to the state and the country. The Academic Staff Union of Universities of Bayelsa State government-owned Niger Delta University has declared an indefinite strike over the government's alleged failure to honor agreements reached with the union. The strike action was announced on Tuesday following a meeting at the union secretariat. The strike action was announced on Tuesday following a meeting at the union secretariat in Amasoma. Details of the union's grievances and the impact of the strike on academic activities at NDU are expected to unfold in the coming days. We go on a short break. We will be right back. Please stay with us.
MLC TV Online is here. For your timely and reliable news that reaches you fast with the breaking news, choose MLC TV. Get human interest stories right here on MLC TV with entertainment, sports, business, culture, tourism, and fashion news stories all featured on MLC TV. Not forgetting political and current affairs news, state and federal government and people's matters will be discussed regularly on MLC TV. MLC TV, your one-stop online destination for unbiased, accurate news, entrepreneur ideas, and youth matters to the rest of the world. MLC TV, reaching everywhere, informing everyone.
Welcome back. Thanks you are still there. Now on crime. Gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have reportedly abducted Kabiru Onyene, an aide to the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. According to reports from the area on Tuesday, Onyene was abducted around 7:05 p.m. on Monday when gun-wielding men in their number stormed his office at Okene in Kogi, shooting sporadically and forcefully took him to an unknown destination. Onyene was said to be cooling off in his popular restaurant, Nahaziat, located few meters to the palace of late Ohinoi of Ibiraland, His Royal Majesty Ado Ibrahim, when his abductor struck. A yet-to-be-identified person was said to have been shot in the process, with his fate hanging in the balance. Bandits have abducted about 43 persons, mostly women and children, from the Kakindawa ward in Gidangowa district of Maradun local government area, Zamfara State. A source who spoke to a reporter under anonymity said the incident occurred at around 2 a.m. on Sunday. The source said they have counted for 3 persons, including 3 adult males and 40 women and children, who were taken by bandits during the attack. It was gathered that the heavily armed attackers stormed the village, firing sporadically and forcing residents, especially men, into the bush. The source said women and children unable to escape were taken at gunpoint, adding that the head count of the abducted was conducted the following day. Locals said the bandits had not contacted any of the affected families to discuss ransom demands. Another resident described the terrifying ordeal, saying the entire village was gripped by fear as gunshots echoed throughout the operation. They have turned to prayers for the safe return of their loved ones, particularly given the harsh Harmattan weather conditions. He said the bandits reportedly conducted a house-to-house search during the raid at residents' hid. A Federal Capital Territory High Court on Tuesday rejected the bail application of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello, citing procedural irregularities in the filing of the application. Justice Yen Anene, while delivering the ruling, stated that the application was premature as it was filed before Bello was present in the court or in his custody. Stated that the application was premature and it was filed before Bello was present in court or in custody. Bello, alongside two others, is facing charges brought by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over an alleged 110 billion naira money laundering case. The court noted that the bail application, dated November 22, was filed before Bello's arraignment, which took place on November 27th, days after he was taken into custody on November 26. Bello's counsel, Jacob Daudu, SAN, urged the court to consider the application, arguing that his client, a two-term governor of Kogi State, would not interfere with witnesses or jump bail. Chris Iziguzo, the immediate past president, Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, has described as false, malicious reports making the rounds that court stopped him and one other person from selling the NUJ Secretariat building in Imo State. Iziguzo, in a statement made available to newsmen, said he was neither a party to nor aware of any legal proceedings related to the sale or lease of the NUJ property in Imo State. The immediate past president of the NUJ, while stating that the publications were meant to dent the image he had built over the years, challenged authors of the publications and the media outlets that published such reports to provide evidence. An officer of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Solomon Ogodo, has been sentenced to 7 years in prison for defrauding job seekers of 12.2 million naira with a fake employment scheme. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, prosecuted the case. Also saw the court order Ogodo to repay all funds collected from his victims. The ICPC told the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Jabi, Abuja, that Ogodo forged provisional appointment letters and promised unsuspecting applicants jobs in the Nigerian Correctional Service, NCOS. Prosecutor Hamza Sani detailed how Ogodo's action contravened multiple laws, including the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000 and the Advanced Fee Fraud Act 2006. The court imposed 7 years imprisonment on 3 counts without an option of a fine and additional 2-month sentences on other charges, one allowing a 5,000 fine. Dele Farotimi, a prominent human rights lawyer and activist, has been remanded in prison custody until December 20th, after the magistrate court in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State adjourned his bail application. This development stems from allegations of defamation against Chief Afe Babalola, SAN, in his book Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System, where he accused Babalola of corrupting Supreme Court judges. Farotimi was arrested in Lagos and transferred to Ekiti State, where he was arraigned on a 16-count charge. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. The police prosecutor requested his remand in prison custody pending further investigation, while his counsel argued for bail on liberal terms, citing the presumption of innocence. The case has sparked intense debate about freedom of speech, judicial integrity, and the role of the legal system in addressing defamation claims. Critics argue that the prosecution constitutes an abuse of judicial process and an attempt to stifle dissenting voices. An Ikeja Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court on Monday sentenced a teacher, John Osifo, to life imprisonment for defiling an 8-year-old pupil. Delivering judgment, Justice Rahman Oshodi held that the prosecution proved the charge of defilement against Osifo beyond every reasonable doubt. Oshodi noted that the convict breached the trust that was entrusted in his hands by defiling the survivor. According to him, evidence of the victim was corroborated by her mother's evidence, and medical examination revealed absence of hymen. He said that the convict exploited the vulnerability of the child under his care to defile her. The judge said, instead of showing remorse, he chose to fabricate a lie and false accusations alleging that the mother of the victim tried to seduce him. The court thereafter sentenced him to life imprisonment and ordered that his name be registered in the Sexual Offences Register of Lagos State. Next on our foreign news. Benjamin Netanyahu, the first sitting Prime Minister of Israel to face a criminal trial, is expected to testify for the first time when his corruption case resumes. Netanyahu has repeatedly sought to delay his appearance in court, where he faces charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of public trust in 3 separate cases. At the hearing, the Israeli premier is expected to take the witness stand for the first time, responding to the allegations and testimonies made against him, including from former close aides. The last time he physically appeared in the courtroom was in June 2023. Netanyahu said at a press conference Monday evening, he will speak in court. He is not running away. It has been 8 years that he has waited for this day. 8 years of wanting to present the truth. 8 years waiting to completely demolish these absurd and baseless accusations against him. The premier declared, again denouncing what he called a relentless witch hunt. For security reasons, the trial has been moved from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, where Netanyahu will testify in an underground chamber. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva underwent surgery in Sao Paulo to drain a bleed on his brain linked to a fall at home in October. A medical note published by the government said on Tuesday the surgery was successful and the 79-year-old Lula is well and being monitored in the intensive care unit. Lula had an MRI scan late on Monday in Brasilia after suffering a headache, which detected an intracranial hemorrhage. He was transferred to Sao Paulo for surgery at the Syro-Lebanese hospital. Lula fell at home in late October and sustained a small brain hemorrhage and trauma to the back of his head, which required stitches. Tests in early November showed his condition was stable and Lula remained active, recently traveling to Montevideo to discuss a Mercosur trade deal. The president's injury forced him to cancel a trip to Russia for a summit of the BRICS group of major emerging markets being held in Kazan, following medical advice to temporarily avoid long-haul flights. Brazil's Labor Minister Luiz Marinho was among the first politicians to wish Lula a swift and full recovery on social media platform X. A Sudanese military airstrike on a market in North Darfur killed more than 100 people on Monday, a pro-democracy lawyers group said on Tuesday. In a war marked by claims of atrocities on all sides, the emergency lawyer said Monday's airstrike also left hundreds injured in Kabkabia, a town about 180 kilometers, 112 miles west of El Fasher, the state capital that has been under siege from the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, since May. According to aid agencies, tens of thousands have been killed and millions displaced in a 20-month war between the RSF and Sudan's army that has left the Northeast African country on the brink of famine. A 39-year-old man in Siberia has been jailed for 3 years for defacing posters that called on people to enlist in the Russian army, regional authorities said. The man from Zelenogorsk in the Krasnoyarsk region was accused of having deliberately and intentionally defaced 13 recruitment posters last June. The authorities said a court found him guilty of having discredited Russian forces. The charge has been used to suppress dissent to the conflict in Ukraine. Russia has cracked down hard on opposition to the conflict, which began in February 2022, and has sanctioned, threatened, or imprisoned thousands. Next is sports updates. Manchester City's malaise leaves the English champions in the unusual position of fretting over qualifications for the knockout stages of the Champions League ahead of a tricky trip to Italian giants Juventus. City have won just once in their past 9 games in all competitions, with an injury crisis and a loss of form. for some of their biggest stars, leading to the worst run of Pep Guardiola's managerial career. Despite a 4-1 humbling by Sporting Lisbon and an embarrassing collapse from 3-0 up to draw 3-3 against Feyenoord, they are still in a position to qualify for the new league phase format. They sit 17th in the 36-team table, with a top 24 finish enough to secure a place in the playoff round at the least. However, their chances of direct entry to the last 16 by finishing in the top 8 look slim, with another difficult trip to Paris Saint-Germain to come in January before a home game against Club Brugge. Premier League official David COOTE has been sacked by the referees body, the PGMOL, following a thorough investigation into his conduct. COOTE, 42, was suspended by the PGMOL, the Professional Game Match Officials Limited, on 11th November pending a full investigation after a video allegedly showing him making derogatory comments about Liverpool and the club's former manager, Jurgen Klopp, was circulated on social media. A further investigation was opened 2 days later after the Sun published photos it says they were taken during this summer's European Championship, alleging that they appear to show COOTE sniffing a white powder through a roll-up US banknote. The PGMOL said COOTE's actions made his position untenable. COOTE has the right to appeal the decision to terminate his employment. And from our entertainment decks, the KOGI State Special Advisor to Governor Ododo and Ambassador Hasiat Ozavize Suleiman's recent confinement as Alikeju Eje of Olamaboro was marked by a series of memorable events that celebrated achievements and dedication to community service. The festivities began with a visit to the palace of the Ohinoi of Ibiroland, His Royal Majesty Mohammed Tijani Anaje, in Okene, and concluded with a grand reception in her hometown of Ehima. During her visit to the Ohinoi's palace, Ambassador Suleiman presented her newly conferred title to the Reverend Monarch and sought his blessings. His Royal Majesty warmly welcomed her, describing the honor as well-deserved. He noted that her visit coincided with the monthly prayers held at the palace, which he deemed fortuitous. The Ohinoi commended her commitment to uplifting the people of Ibiraland and urged her to remain steadfast in her endeavors. The celebrations continued in Ihima, where Ambassador Suleiman hosted friends, well-wishers, and dignitaries at her residence. The reception, organized by a dedicated planning committee, was attended by a host of notable personalities. Also present is Abdulsalam Enehe from the FCDA, Abuja, amongst numerous friends and associates who traveled from across the state and beyond to celebrate her. It was spiced by local artists with cultural performances, while goodwill messages were delivered by dignitaries. In her remarks, Ambassador Suleiman expressed heartfelt gratitude to all attendees for their support and to the planning committee for their tireless efforts in making the event a resounding success. She pledged to continue upholding the values of her people and working to foster unity and progress within our community and beyond.
I want to say that just like I have been honored, I am already seeing myself as the daughter, one of the daughters of Alamabro, and I will continue to see this kingdom as home.
The double celebrations underscored Ambassador Suleiman's enduring contributions to Kogi State and the admiration she has earned among her people. Nigerian rapper Reminisce has said money has taken the place of good music in determining a hit song. Appearing on the I Said What I Said podcast, Reminisce said most hit songs nowadays depend on huge budgets, not the quality of the music. He said the game has now changed to another phase, the phase where you now have to spend money to get hits. And this is where we wrap it up on today's news. For more information or contributions and advert placements, please call the numbers displayed on your screen. Join us daily to watch our news and other exciting programs that would brighten your day. You can also subscribe to all our social media handles to watch our previous and subsequent programs. We are Malachite TV, reaching everywhere, informing everyone. Please be your brothers and sisters keeper to build a happier and better society together. I am Gift Daniel. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.